This is Todd Stashwick, and you are watching TrekCulture.
Hello everyone and welcome! Well, it's finally happened. We finally got the trailer for Season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy that we have been waiting on for, I don't know, it seems like, it's been 84 years. It's finally happened, it's finally here, and we're gonna go through everything that we caught in this trailer. But let us know as well, are you excited? We have less than 2 weeks as of the recording of this episode to go for Season 2 to drop on Netflix internationally. I am so excited, even more so now, having seen this trailer and seeing just little teasers of what is coming up. Just big shout out as well, everyone who has come together to make this happen. You know who yous are. Everyone who even shared a post or who shared their support of this show. Thank you so much, because this really feels like everyone worked together to make this happen. Now, anyway, right, let's jump in and go through everything that you missed in the Season 2 trailer for Star Trek Prodigy. Number 1, we open up on a wide-eyed wonder shot of Dal before quickly dissolving into a type of new shuttle, possibly, or new fighters that are flying over San Francisco, we presume Starfleet Academy. These straight away very evocative of Irina's racer from the episode Drive of Star Trek Voyager. Dal is still in his warrant officer uniform, so we're not really sure in the beginning of Season 2 if they're full cadets or if they're still sort of cadets in waiting, cadets maybe, cadets, let's just see what we can get out of you before actually having to pay you, interns. With a little bit of exposition voiceover, we get a little bit of a backstory from last season. Dal talking about how they used to be nobodies on a rock. This is over a scene of Gwyn, who, as you will remember, finished Season 1 heading off to Solem. Now, she is very much back in this season. She is piloting what looks like a Kazon shuttle that we would have seen in Lost and Found as well. Gwyn, we've got Dal, we've got Jankum, and we've got Roktok. They are all in their lovely type of warrant officer uniform. Now, look at Gwyn specifically. She's got what we presume is her magical sword. That's what I choose to call it. And her magical sword has patterned her uniform with that pattern we saw from last season as well. Does appear to be wearing what I took straight away to be an armband very similar to what we would have seen in the Deep Space Nine episode Visionary, when Miles O'Brien was moving backwards and forwards in time. That's straight away what jumped to my mind there for that. Looks like we're getting cetacean operations in this season. As was already revealed, but still wonderful to see him, the EMH, played by Robert Picardo, is back for Season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy. Now, the nice thing, of course, about being a hologram is that you can depict him as being the exact same age as he was when everyone else was arriving back in the Delta, or in the Alpha Quadrant on Voyager. It's kind of a nice little trick of being a hologram, isn't it? If you'll remember that scene from Endgame as well, where of course everyone else was aged up appropriately, and yet Robert Picardo got to look like his dashing holographic self again. He is of course disembarking from the Voyager-A shuttle. Now this is a scene that we actually saw teased almost a year ago now, so still wonderful to see that. Also, how smart does Jankum Pog look there with his little comb over? Fair play, Jankum. They take this shuttle to what seems like a secret dry dock, and as Dal says, they're on a classified mission. What could be in the dry dock, I hear you wondering? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious, is it not? Anyway, moving on. The EMH and a lovely Bolian in red are operating the shuttle. There is somebody else as well sitting there, co-pilot. We have a circular aperture. This is obviously styled to look as though it's their shuttle approaching this aperture, but actually, as you'll see later on in this breakdown, I don't think it's that one at all. What we do get is we get Janeway. Admiral Janeway is back. She is having a cup of coffee. We get Tysus back. We get Dr. Gnome back as well. So wonderful to see them back for Season 2. There is a quick shot there of the Master Systems display of the Voyager-A. I am so excited to see this ship. I suppose, look, the key art is everywhere. How gorgeous does the Voyager-A look? I'll go into it again now in a second, but oh my god. There is clearly a computer display in which Janeway is talking about an unstable time rift. It looks as though they're going to try and retrieve the protostar from the past, the future, all over the place. Listen, time gets a bit confusing with Star Trek Prodigy, and it's one of the fun bits, but it looks like a new type of shuttle. Straight away, the first thing I look at there is I think, oh, Argo? But possibly not. It's as if they're going to exchange one for the other. In the corridor, as our favorite kids are walking along in uniform, we see walking toward them what looks like a Lurian cadet and a Vulcan cadet. We will come back to her. And then, of course, we get our glorious shot of the Voyager-A with those very Sovereign-inspired nacelles as well. There's already been a lot of talk in TrekCulture about particularly those nacelles. We're nacelles fans here. Sorry, I went to a happy place. A lovely sexy shot of the inside of the turbo shafts with turbo lifts that don't look like they're inside a TARDIS. Now we get Zero in sickbay as well, and Jankum looks as happy as I would be to arrive in engineering, and how sexy does that warp core look? Oh yeah, that looks quite nice. Murph looks like he's in a show all by himself. It looks like he's ready to train just to destroy people. And you know what? I'm with him. I'm with him. Can only assume this is on either a holodeck or on an alien world. And then poor Dal, evoking Gillian Taylor from Star Trek IV, the one with the whales, walks right into a cloaked ship as well, while he says they're hiding something. Well, if you wanted any more proof of that, you can see right on screen, they're clearly hiding something. Here's one bit. So I've written down the note, Dal is back on his bull. Now, what I mean by that is that Dal seems to be aboard the Voyager-A for this one, and the first thing he seems to do is, I'm going to break all the rules. And I'm gonna watch that one closely, because as you'll remember, my first few episodes of season 1, I struggled a little bit with Dal and his journey. Came to love him, and so that's where I'm a bit like, let's not go back on bad habits. So let's see what they do with that. Rock Talk basically standing in for me here. You know, Rock Talk's not amused by Dal running around going, I'm going to find everything else. Now he does. He falls through the ceiling to a very kind of confused Janeway turning around. And he goes, I was doing some routine maintenance, which I won't lie, did get a laugh out of me. We get a glorious shot of the Voyager-A. It seems to be either orbiting or simply passing by a pulsar or a cold star. Looks like we're going to get those glorious visuals again for season 2. And then stop the presses. Chakotay has a beard. Yes, it seems like we're getting Chakotay in the flesh, and judging by the lack of grey in his hair, he seems to be a not very aged Chakotay. So I think we're going to get either multiple timelines, or people are going to be plucked out of timelines in this season, which will be interesting to see. What does that relationship look like when presumably they're all going to meet up at some point? Otherwise, why would you put him in the trailer? Is he going to be out of time? Is he being gifted 30 years again? I don't know. I don't know. What does it all mean? But he looks kind of Rambo-esque in that kind of the wide shot where he does seem to be standing beside a parked protostar. I love the protostar. Sorry, like, you know, Fan Home, who have just recently, you know, officially announced that they are running the new Star Trek ships. Could you bump the protostar up the list a little bit? We know the first 3. Can it be number 4? After this, we get a voiceover from Janeway talking about, you know, there's new worlds. So we get this wide shot of a double-ringed world. And then it cuts to a model as well. I'm wondering, because again, remember, end of season 1, Gwyn was off to Solem to try and effectively head off what will become the beginning of the living construct, or the problems that led to season 1. Is this planet Solem? Janeway talks about time travel, and of course we get our lovely shot of the protostar again. So for me, this suggests that it's the same protostar, just at a different point in time. I wonder if this means, will the fate be changed? Will we save a certain character? Put a pin in that, because we're going to come back to that. We get a couple of wide shots of Gwyn just casually reminding us that she's an absolute badass, and Jankum has a blowtorch for a hand, because of course he does. We get that cloaked ship reveal, so the one that Dal nearly broke his face walking into. And to me, the front of it at least is very evocative of the dropship from Aliens. And, you know, I love that design, always have loved that design. So, you know, if that was an inspiration, I get it. We have what I have written down here as cute little alien baby pineapple, which I then have crossed out and I've written down hedgehog. So I think what we're looking at is the next plush toy that's going to drive everyone crazy for Christmas. We then get a shot that's very, very interesting to me. So we have Rok-Tahk standing in front of a graphic display of what now looks to be multiple time rifts. So this one that we saw earlier in the trailer with the protostar and presumably this, I'm going to call it the dropship for the moment, this new dropship, we now get a shot of multiple ones of them in a row. Is this going to be part of the season? How the heck do we find which is the right one? Or am I reading far too much into this? Am I also reading far too much into the fact that Dal immediately quotes timey-wimey? There's zero chance that that's a coincidence that he would say timey-wimey when talking about time travel when he's directly quoting one of the other fairly large sci-fi franchises that deals with time travel. Especially because when all of that circular panel looks together, it's a bit evocative of Gallifreyan language. Love the Doctor Who influence there, folks. We get what looks like just doing a bit of dance with some turquoise aliens. Oh, I'm totally here for this. Some of them are wearing flowers on their heads. I'm calling it now. Wedding? Maybe not, but either way, I'm so here for this. Think about it, the episode from last season, All the World's a Stage, we had some kind of turquoisey aliens that ended up being one of the funniest episodes of the season. I would love this to be a theme. Turquoise equals comedy. Works for me. We then get a shot that I know is going to drive Voyager fans, and let's be honest, Ellie, into wild hysterics, and that is Janeway's back in the tank top. It was so cool to see this because it's one of her most iconic looks from Macrocosm, of course, badass Janeway, and we're definitely getting something like that back again. I'm not entirely sure what they're standing in front of, some sort of device, some sort of rift, but we get, kind of Janeway ready to rock and roll, effectively, with our favorite kids as well. And then we get that line, use your phasers. They seem unfazed. Zero just coming in with the comedy there. And the hedgehogs, I'm just calling them hedgehogs, rolling after our favorite kids. Also, does that really strike dilithium in your minds as well? It's the first thing I thought of when I saw it, just like big lumps of dilithium. Then we get a shot of Gwyn jumping out of a window. A couple of things to notice here. She's not in her warrant officer uniform, so this is clearly a different part of the season. She uses her sword to kind of zip line away. Looking at the architecture, this I think is Solem. And if that's the case, that then makes me think that yes, that double-ringed planet from earlier was Solem. So at least we're going to visit there. So she was in 2384. So if she's visiting Solem then, this is a Solem that is very much not destroyed. Are we going to see the Vaunacat in their glory? And if so, what does that look like? At the moment, it looks like they build very breakable windows. So then there's a Borg ship. Or, look, at the very least, there is a Borg construct. This is what I think. So that aperture that I spoke about a few seconds ago, this is what I think this is. I mean, if you look at it, it's a big, massive circle, and you have what I suspect is the dropship hovering in front of it. Also, check out those engines at the back of it. Very evocative of the Maquis Raider. This is clearly Borg, in my opinion, especially with the big green cloud that appears behind it. I think it's a transwarp hub. If not a hub, then certainly a transwarp aperture, and which is fine. And also, it would be a way, I guess, of including the Borg without necessarily including the collective. Because, again, you have to be careful about how many times you include the collective in Star Trek Prodigy, because we've all sorts of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff going on. We know where we're going to get to with the collective in 2401. We also know that they were left on the, kind of the Queen talks about how they were left to die and to starve. So we kind of can't keep popping in for tea every so often. If not deserted, then I think this is going to be at least separated from the collective. As I say, handy workaround. Have the Borg without having the collective. July 1st, the reminder of when the episodes are dropping. We had a lovely shot of the protostar. I love that ship. I know. It's flying through slipstream. Is this a time rift? Who knows? I don't know. We get another shot of that Vulcan cadet. And then a fight scene of what I'm assuming, based on this and footage later in the trailer, of Gwyn versus Ascensia. They seem to be in more traditional garb. Again, are we on Solem? Are we somewhere else? The thing that broke my brain was there is a display where in the bottom left corner, we get the top of what looks to be a Terran logo, and more specifically, the Terran logo that evokes the Next Generation comic Mirror Broken, that logo from there. I do not hate a Terran crossover. I don't. Remember, Voyager never got a Terran crossover episode. Yes, I know we've had Mirror Universe Janeway in Star Trek Online. Is now the time that we get Mirror Universe Janeway? Who knows? Who knows? Including that in the trailer feels deliberate, in a way to tease us. Is it going to be a red herring, which it absolutely could be? Or are we going to find out episode 1? Oh, by the way, season 2, yeah, that's all in the Mirror Universe, right? Now, we get a lovely shot of Essentia and her cronies looking smug. Maybe she's the one who brought them into the Mirror Universe. And then we get, I don't know who this character is, Klingon with Eyepiece and Disruptor is what I've named this character, and I'm here for it. It's not lost on me that we have one eye covered, one eye revealed, but I'm not getting Martok from this character. I know it's like, you see a Klingon. It must be one of the following. I'm assuming new character, and from a shot a little bit later on as well, this character appears to be on the Hedgehog planet. We get a shot of Gwyn, basically the kids, I don't know whether they're on a holodeck or some sort of observatory. They're looking at what looks to be basically the galaxy itself. Another quick shot thinking about that armband that I mentioned earlier on, the one that was in DS9. And in this shot with Gwyn piloting presumably the Kazon shuttle, it seems to be activated. There is a display raised from it. So for me, it's definitely doing something. And if it's connected to time travel, that would make sense. Hologram Janeway. Sorry, for those of you in the back, Hologram Janeway is back. Again, timey-wimey. I'm thinking time travel. I think this is the Hologram Janeway that we met in season 1. Having said that, they were talking about fleets of protostars, so this could be an entirely new Hologram Janeway altogether. There's nothing to stop them doing that. I think we all kind of want to see our Hologram Janeway back again, though, don't we? Maybe let's not get her trust by telling her exactly how and when she's going to die. In that same scene, we see Murph operating the protostar, and then we get a shot of the Voyager-A seems to be phasering some black, cloudy-looking alien things. And then there's a scene that worries me, because it's a blink and you'll miss it, bright flash of, is it a temporal distortion? Is it an explosion? It does have Voyager-A's nacelle there, so that's worrying. I don't want that ship destroyed. We know the Voyager-B is going to be active by around, the early 25th century, but let us have a little while with the Voyager-A at least, will you? Now, we get that quick shot of the Hedgehog planet. It has our Vulcan cadet. We have that Klingon. We have Rok-Tahk holding that baby hedgehog. I know they're not hedgehogs. I just like to think of them as hedgehogs. This works for me. We get some gorgeous ship porn then of the Voyager-A and the Protostar flying alongside each other. Are they fighting Vaunacat ships? That would be where that's what I'm putting my money on. We get a quick shot then of what definitely looks to be Kazon interface. Now, I want to do a shout out straight away to York Hillebrand, who of course, was very quick to spot that, which I saw on Blue Sky. So York, thank you so much. You are awesome as always. How do you spot these things? This is incredible. We got shots of Murph in action. Now, Murph seems to be taking down, I think, a Starfleet officer in an EVA suit. Now, it does look like everything's red alerting into the distance, so, it looks like they're in cetacean operations as well, because they're kind of surrounded by water and they're in some sort of tunnel. Quick shot then of this new fighter. So this is the one I mentioned right at the very beginning of this episode, and it seems to be at least being attacked by these Kazon fighters as well. Now, are our kids piloting the Kazon fighters, or are we doing a switcheroo? Are they on the new ship and we take over some Kazon fighters? Because it does look like it's that same kind of asteroid background that we had at the beginning of the trailer. Jankom opens the porthole, and there's a whale. Just so happy. We get that amazing scene of aquatic Murph. I don't think this is a new evolution of Murph. I think Murph is just, we know Murph is able to adjust their body to suit the situation. In that training scene, Murph had more arms. So I just love the fact that Murph kind of looks like a mermaid or something there, which really works. We see an actual proper fight then between Gwen and Essentia, so I think that's just tied into that earlier scene as well. Tank top Janeway in a Voyager-A shuttle struggling with another multi-limbed beastie is what I've got written here. So it looks like there's at least visual references back to Macrocosm, and look, if anyone's going to come out on top in that situation, it's gonna be our Janeway, let's be real. We get then a very brief, very intriguing shot, and it's Jankum and Zero. They seem to be, they're driving something, but they're on a world that looks to be sort of devastated and dead. Do we get early Solem and late Solem? Now that, I might be way off base here, but are we going to do an awful lot of time hopping? Now, Jankum doesn't look too sad, so, I don't think they fail in their mission or anything like that. I wonder, is this one of those things where this is what will happen if you don't succeed? So that's to be kept an eye on. Now, the other thing I have written down here is Tim Burton Beast. So this massive underground, think of the worms from Dune, except with eyes, pops up out of the ground. And it's right beside what looks to be a new runaway, like that thing that was introduced in Dreamcatcher from season 1. I'm actually really happy to see that back again because, yeah, there should be more of these things. Let me get a cloaked Murph. This Vulcan, if you look at the cast list, it looks like we've got a new character called Majel. Majel Barrett, anyone? I reckon that's the name of this Vulcan character. And yeah, it will be a departure from the usual Vulcan naming system. You think they sometimes start with S or T, but I'm here for it. Let's honor Majel Barrett. Why wouldn't you? Toward the very end of the trailer, we get what looks like the Rev-12, or at least another Rev-12 class ship, firing phasers at the Protostar. Will you ever leave my favorite ship alone? That is everything I was able to glean from this trailer. Folks, it's so close now to the release of the season. I am so excited to see what's coming, what's gonna happen. But also it's tinged with a, I don't want to be too excited because, I don't want the whole season to, you know what way we're going to do it now. We've released the information. So we're going to split the season into 4 episodes of ups and downs. Each of those episodes will cover 5 episodes of season 2. So I will cover episodes 1 to 5. Then Ellie will take over and she will cover episodes 6 to 10 and then 11 to 15. That will all be Ellie. I will then finish the season with episodes 16 to 20, and we will release each of those weekly. So we'll have 4 episodes over 4 weeks, each of those episodes covering 5 episodes of Prodigy Season 2, because we don't want it all to be over in one day. We don't want that for the show. We don't want that for us, selfishly. We want to talk about this show forever, and we want that for ye as well. So what are you most excited for? What are you looking forward to? What is the big thing that you must have from Star Trek Prodigy Season 2? Let us know in the comments below. Let us know over on the socials. We're on Blue Sky, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Of course, we're on YouTube. Please make sure that you're subscribed. We really appreciate it when you do. You are awesome. You are wonderful. Live logs and proper. This one? One of them. Live logs and proper. And I will see you soon. Thank you very much.